Amsley Sinkwile. Coming up after the break, I'll have full highlights of the first day of men's basketball and also a story to share about one team that's made its way back into the tournament after 21 years. We'll be right back.
David, this is a big weekend here for sports with the basketball tournament. Are you following it much?
You know, not so much, but I did hear a lot about those boys from Winnebago. Do you think we'll have another Cinderella story on our hands?
You know, I'm not keeping up with it much either, but I bet Amsley Sinkwile has more on the story.
There's been some breaking news today. The #1 seed and undefeated Norfolk just got upset by Northeast. Final score was 61-43. And that's not the only madness that happened today. After watching from the stands for 21 years, the Winnebago basketball team has made its way back into the state tournament. The boys went 24-1 on the season and played early today, dominating the court, beating Wahoo 66-50. This is the first game that the boys have won in 75 years. They play again tomorrow against Grand Island Central Catholic. They play again against Grand Island Central Catholic tomorrow. Now let's go and look at some Class B highlights from earlier today. Beatrice beat Plattsmouth in the early game. Check out this three. The Tigers got out to an early start and held that, beating the Blue Devils 56-36. The afternoon game was a bit closer. Sydney beat Scottsbluff 65-63. Both teams were really hot today. Now, the Husker baseball team is now 9-6 on the season after beating the Northern Colorado Bears 9-2. Senior Blake Hadley crushed a pair of triples, and 7 different Huskers had runs batted in. They powered the team over the Bears. The pitching staff threw 9 strikeouts on the day, only giving up 6 hits. The Huskers will take the field again tomorrow, opening a 3-game series against Florida Gulf Coast. The first pitch is for 4:05. Now moving on from one field to the next, spring practice is in full swing for the Nebraska football team. The boys practiced in full pads just yesterday for the first time, and they are still doing the split practice that Riley has enforced this year. Now Riley did have some concern when he was making these new adjustments, but says that everything's going pretty well and he likes the enthusiasm at practice. Riley says, I think it's going on pretty well. There's always some frustration for the coaches and for the players when it doesn't quite click all the time, but both the players and the coaches are handling the newness pretty well. Now that's all we have for sports. Let's go back to David and Kelsey.